Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do an LED swap on the Galaxy Hydro 155 watt, I believe, unit, or 165 watt unit to the SB Reef lights board. Just wanted to do a how-to here. So I'm going to go ahead and undo the first 6 screws here on the case. This is a Wi-Fi enabled unit, as you can see from the back here. And then I got a special bracket on there for my wall mount. Now this light has been taken apart before. Unfortunately I popped the lenses off here, as you can see, and I hooked up the diodes wrong and burnt out my royal blues. So that was my first reasoning for upgrading, as well as seeing all the great reviews on the actual spectrum of the SB Reef lights. Alright, so got those 6 black screws out. Basically just need to lift up here. Open up towards the side with the wires. Now this is what I was saying, you've got 1 on this side and 2 on this side. These are not marked. One of these is a driver for the royal blues, and one of them is the driver for the regular blues, and if you hook them up backwards you will blow the royal blue LEDs. Now basically how I did this before was just pull the board off. It is labeled on the other side which one's which. As you can see, this thing was actually siliconed in, which isn't bad. It actually provided a nice seal, and they also put silicone on the screws themselves, which kind of makes it a pain. But I didn't really spend the time to scrape the silicone off. I just kind of unscrewed them with the drill, screwed them back in. I'm actually gonna switch over to a drill here. I always felt weird about pulling on these wires, so I actually kind of pushed it through from the other side, which again, with this light, wasn't the best idea because even that is siliconed as well. I'm not sure if all manufacturers do that. Yeah, there we go. So as you can see here, this is the silicone part that was kind of broken from the last time I took it apart. And then it's got these metal tabs here. So I'm just going to go ahead and bend those back out. And the glass will snap, or plastic in this case, slap back in. And I'm just bending these back down and re-secure it. So there we go. Alright, so you have this board here, which is the old board. So we've got blue, and then looks like WB, which could be the Royals. So I'm going to go ahead and mark the one that's just labeled B, which would be this one right here. Got some tape here. Just going to mark that as my blue wire. And then the other one I'm just going to simply unplug. Maybe. There we go. And sorry about that, guys. My battery died, ran out of storage, so I'm back. The only thing I did differently is plug in the new light, and in order to see which side is blue and which side is white, they're not labeled here, as you can see. I just plugged in the light, turned up the blues, and I actually did have it wired backwards, so now it's wired correctly. One thing I did want to point out is, so you have this nice metal backing here on this board, and then here's the other one as well. So the Galaxy Hydro, I don't know if it's metal or not. I mean, this one you can tell is metal. It's about double the size, weighs about twice as much. Really nice board, heavy. Hope it does really well. So coming back here now, I've got the empty casing here. Just gonna drop this right in here. Let's see if everything lines up. Looks like everything lines up. Let me go ahead and try a screw here. I can't really see with the lighting if the holes actually line right up. Yeah, it looks like they do. screwing right in. Now it's going to be a kind of a pain for me to refit these screws as it was before, mainly because I got that silicone on them, and I just didn't bother to sit there and scratch it off. It makes it a little easier with the drill. It's got more weight behind it. Gets them to respond a little bit better. Sorry for the camera angle. This is the best I could do without driving my wife nuts, who already is so tired of my reefing habit. And this one's going to be fun. Alright, a couple more screws here and we are, I think, in business. And go put it back on the tank, and the silicone really makes it a pain. I mean, I think it's a good feature. I mean, it closes everything in, so you don't get a bunch of corrosion and whatnot. I mean, I may go back and silicone this eventually. I'm not gonna, that's a lie. I'm not going to. Feel my light's far enough off the water, plus the vents on the side are the same, you know, depth, so it's really not going to matter. Just going to do one tighten on these, make sure they're good. Didn't want to tighten them too much with the drill if you do use a drill. So I've got all the screws tightened now. Everything's in there. Connectors are solid. Again, didn't modify anything. It's a little dusty in there, but that'll be fine. So I'm going to put everything back here, drop it in, just like so. Line up the holes here, and screw everything back in. Just to do some clarification, these are labeled. If you notice, it says MB and B. So B is your blues, as you can see, blue, blue, blue. But MBs are your, I don't know if they're what they're referencing, moon bright or something. MB, MB, and then MB. So this is the one, the MB one is the one you don't want to use. You want to make sure you plug in this driver, or sorry, this portion to the driver where it's connected currently to the SB Reef lights.